Virgo, this is your November 2021 soul story. This month, your heart has a voice and it has something it wants to say. So, if you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign Virgo, this is a general reading, and we are going to give you some key astrological dates and insights and messages to help you navigate your way through the next few weeks. This is Romy. Welcome to my channel. I appreciate you being here. So, we're going to open up this month with the energy of the Six of Swords. Now, there's an illumination around your third house. The throat chakra is really being illuminated, and the idea of self-expression, of really listening to what's going on in terms of how your thoughts are changing, evolving, and wanting to direct you and move you towards new horizons is going to be really front and center in your mind. Now, we can see that she's, traveling in the clouds here, but she's holding this heavy rain cloud, and there's something about lessons learned here. We've come out of this period of all of the major planets being in retrograde, and there's a speeding up, an accelerated feeling of momentum that's now kicking in November. And so there's a preparing for the next part of the voyage, the next part of the journey. But what we have to remember is what we have understood, what we've processed and integrated, and those really powerful lessons that we have gone through in the last few weeks and months, so that you are staying true to yourself. She's ready here with her anchor to drop it into this little private island out in the middle of the ocean. And I feel right now perhaps there's something that you're having to figure out on your own. You may have well-meaning people around you, you may have the support, the counsel, the insight and the advice, but ultimately there's choices and decisions and things that you have to arrive at that are deeply personal. And, they're also connected into that deeper longing that may be surfacing for you, that requires that you're going to have to challenge the status quo in some regard. Scorpio energy coming through is wanting that time of powerful transformational energy. Now, the new moon is coming in on the 4th of the month. It's going to be at 12 degrees opposing Uranus. So there's a breakthrough quality to this. There's a restlessness. And the Six of Swords does suggest that you're on the move, but there's also a quietness about that. Are you distancing yourself from someone or something? Are you moving on from something? Inevitably, we're coming into a time where we are wrapping up. We're allowing those things to come to points of powerful completion. We're going to be welcoming a new eclipse season this month. Now, that rain cloud is getting ready to burst, isn't it? So very soon there's going to be a release of energy. You may have already had it. There may, from that experience, have some emotional tears that need to fall. There may be some words that need to be said, but whatever way that expresses itself for you, we know that the heart has something really powerful that it wants to get clear, and it wants to be put out into the world. There's something that changes when we actually say the words out loud, and I think you're ready to kind of feel how that anchors something in for you, how it locks something in. So around that new moon, as you set out your store for kind of welcoming a fresh energy and that sense of inviting in a new beginning in some aspect, it has to come from a place of fairness, of justice, of balance for yourself. I feel like you have been really considering the right and wrong, or kind of all sides of an equation, of a situation in some regards. And, I suppose there's a seriousness now that's coming into play for you. And I think you've been very serious about your own healing of late, really wanting to deal with things, really wanting to kind of figure out what you think you should do versus actually what you want to do, and the way that you are honouring that to the degree that you may be self-abandoning, or where you've actually been able to overcome. And here's the thing, right? We always have more to learn, more to heal, more to unravel. But can you also look at the growth? Can you also see how far you've come in that pilgrimage, that beautiful soul journey, that rite of passage? That's the thing that we need to also recognise, the parts of you that no longer ache, that no longer hurt, that want to be recognized right now, want to be celebrated, want to be acknowledged, because this is all wrapping itself up in terms of what it is that you have to say. But again, justice is coming through here and saying, say what you mean what you say. There's a kind of a transparency that's also, really coming through powerfully during Scorpio season, especially as Mercury shifts into the sign on the 5th of the month. Here we're going to be questioning, we want to really get to the root cause of things. We want to do our research. We want to be fearless in our ability to kind of go to those subject matters that previously have perhaps felt a little bit uncomfortable, but all of it from a perspective of trying to find justice, trying to kind of almost allow for this karmic clear up to take place. Now, your Three of Cups energy here is interesting because they're kind of surrounding themselves with these like hula hoop energies. So there's something that feels a little bit tangled in this for me. So maybe there's a tangled situation in regards to friendship. Of course, it could be even siblings. As we talk about that third house energy, there might be a focus on family matters, or, some sort of group energy. And there's something for me that needs to be unpicked or unraveled or kind of figured out to some degree. And again, there's almost this sense I feel with the Six of Swords of you wanting to move away. I suppose the question is, what are you running from? And what are you running to? Where is the directionality coming in here? Because there's something going on for you deeper within yourself through the course of November. And I feel like you're just preparing. There's like a preparation energy that wants to kind of emerge. And I think the actual physical expression of that as you use your voice, whether it be written, whether it be in a conversation or something that you're putting out in the world, I think you may surprise yourself. There has to be a sort of acceptance at this point of the contrasts that exist within you and the contradictions that you are observing externally to you. So, as you look at the parts of yourself that feel more introverted, but you also tap into the defiance that's wanting to burst through as you seek to understand the groundedness, but also to kind of allow that mercurial vision of yours to kind of burst forth. There's such a blessing in being able to just allow these contrasts to be, and to be able to tap into and blend them into something that's your unique way of showing up, of communicating, of being who you are. And the Page of Cups, again, there's this kind of sentiment of wanting to share, wanting to talk, wanting to intuitively just let yourself take the position of feeling vulnerable, but also being open and curious as to what that might mean and where that might lead for you. Now, Venus is going to shift into the sign of Capricorn on the 5th of the month, okay? And in the Earth sign, there's some high expectations that we're going to be working on here. There's going to be conversations that are wanting to talk about how do we meaningfully move forward here? What is the seriousness of this situation? What are we committing to? What are each of us investing into this? Of course, Venus also rules our money story. You might have some high ideals and thinking about the way that you're going to be scaling, the next challenge in order to achieve that and to succeed in that way. Remember though, if your worth is on the line, Venus rules our value consciousness. If your worth is on the line, are you going to choose to keep hustling or trying to prove something to someone, to yourself, perhaps to, this group of individuals or people that we're looking at, you untangling yourself or are you going to step back and reclaim something within yourself? And I feel that that's what's actually going on with the Six of Swords. I think you're kind of calling your energy back in where it's been scattered, where it's been directed unintentionally, or in fact, purposefully, but actually now you're having that kind of second thought consideration of, was this the right way to actually show up, and what has been the impact to me, to kind of rob myself of my own happiness, my own joy, my own ability to kind of harness the passions that are rising up within me, because there's new gifts being discovered and unearthed when we look at that Page of Cups energy going on. So you're coming at this month with an energy of seriousness, with a desire to actually say what's on your mind, knowing that those words are going to make impact, they're going to create a change, and that clarity of energy investment is really, really important, because it is kind of almost balancing something out and allowing you to kind of find the right alignment, find the right dynamic, so that you feel comfortable to be able to kind of almost say goodbye or to welcome in the new energies that are coming, and even this aspect of being able to listen more attentively to what other people are saying before you make judgment is also kind of helping to feed into this air of honesty, is kind of what I'm picking up, this air of honesty. Now I want to give you a heads up, because Venus in Capricorn, and you're coming through as King of Pentacles here right in the center of your reading, so you do feel a sense of groundedness and certainty. So I really like that emerging for you here. The confidence is going to be high in some areas, but Venus is going to be going retrograde in Capricorn. Okay, so you're going to feel into the shadow energy of that around the 18th of November, but it's going to be playing out fully through December, January. So the themes that are coming up for you by way of relationships, by way of money, by way of how you value yourself, how you're creating that sense of equilibrium in your world through beauty, and really being under the microscope here, and you're going to be revisiting things and reviewing anything that comes up. And remember, from a Capricorn perspective, this is about the commitment and seeking to evolve, to take things to the next level. Now your King of Pentacles is coming in here with the Page of Cups. I quite like that, because what it's showing me is that you're going to have the confidence, the strength actually to be vulnerable, to put yourself in situations that perhaps are maybe a little bit more out of your comfort zone, not lose that part of yourself that's kind of like your own spiritual backbone, but at the same time kind of give in to that understanding that, you do need to get serious about where your emotions have a powerful voice in what's unfolding right now, and how that's impacting on your energy levels. Why do I say that? Because one of the bigger themes for this month, Virgo, is around our readiness to receive. What are we doing to prepare internally for what we are manifesting externally? And, that means that there may have to be changes in the environment, changes in your own nervous system, in your own energy levels. And that really makes a difference as to your ability to not end up sabotaging or pushing away something that, starts to show up for you that you've been maybe asking for or wanting for a long time. And all of a sudden you get cold feet, or you feel like, I can't do this, or it's not going to last, it's not going to stay here, or it just becomes so overwhelming because even though you've wanted it, you're not really capable of understanding how to root and anchor the energy in so that it becomes a sustainable part of your pathway moving forward. So being really aware of what your nervous system is constantly communicating to you through the course of November is also going to be really helpful as to where you need to move, where you need to withdraw your energy, and, the things that you should be focusing on to really support you. Okay, so we also have the goddess energies kind of coming in to really give us that additional support this month as Pallas Athena shifts direct in the sign of Pisces, your 7th house of relationships. And here what we're going to be doing is, again, putting a new strategy in place for ourselves, one that actually we feel we can devote ourselves to. We feel we can kind of rise to the challenge, if you like. 7 of Wands, he's got love tattooed on his chest here. It's giving him strength to have this plan, to have this knowing of, this is how I'm going to do it, this is how I'm going to say it, this is how I'm going to approach it. And, understanding that is going to help you to be able to overcome whatever is coming your way in terms of that distraction, that disorientation, that chaos, that overwhelm that kind of says, who do you think you are to be able to move in this direction, or to suddenly say this, or to embody, what it is that you feel is your truth right now. So yes, we're challenged here, but I also feel like a rising sense of certainty and confidence that is coming through as a result of that challenge, and that's really important. But what I am going to say to you in relation to this, Virgo, is you've got to get super clear on what it is that you're fighting for. Yeah, because again, if you don't know and you haven't got to the root of that, you haven't been able to go deep. And Scorpio energy is really going to support you in that journeying, that almost kind of soul retrieval, to come back home to yourself and recognize, why does this matter to me, and why does it matter in the way that it does for me today and also moving forward, because that's then going to be the fuel that continues to charge you up and to kind of sustain you and give you that life force to kind of keep coming up against these challenges and rising over them. And I do see you being able to do that through the course of this month, but it's all about, you know, the energy, communication, the self-expression, and also that reciprocity, because you're not having any time to waste in terms of going places where the energy isn't coming back to you, where you're not valued, where you are not understood. Now, the energy of strength comes in just as a reminder of that resiliency. And let's also talk about the 1111 portal this month, yeah? So coming in as a powerful time of ascension, evolution, really focusing on a lot of the twin flame energy that might be important for some of you, masculine and feminine energy being harmonized and balanced out within you. But it's very important that you are calling your energy back, because if it's too scattered, if it's been displaced because you are uncertain, or you have been impacted or drained, or, you know, been so caught up in the kind of the shock to the nervous system, then you're not kind of operating in that way where you're really harnessing the powerful potential of that time in order to kind of receive some of the instant manifestations that can really evolve from that very, very powerful time through the month. Strength energy says here that you kind of have to, again, something that you have to figure out for yourself. You know, you have to step back. You have to have the courage to be able to do the hard things, you know. You have to come at it from a place of love, a place of kindness, but you also have to know that sometimes, you know, what we have to do in order to allow growth and expansion to happen in our lives, to kind of really honor what our heart wants to say in the direction that we're moving towards, is sometimes let people down. It is sometimes to say no to things. It is sometimes to, you know, cause pain or upset, or, you know, that kind of energy impact to others. But ultimately, in doing so, in moving yourself to a vibrational energy where you feel more balanced, more secure, more at peace, more aligned and whole than you've ever been, then the energy that you're putting out to the collective as a whole is of a much higher frequency. It has more impact, and it's helping to change things on a much more significant level. And so, you know, it's not easy. It's not easy to ever come to points where, you know, we feel conflicted, or we feel that, you know, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But at the same time, there's something about the energy of November with this urgency that says, look, you came forth with your personal soul contract. It's yours. So everything that's unfolding for you is something that you are meant to understand, you know, to learn, to develop, to grow from. And that people will always be in that pathway to play different roles. And that, you know, all of us get to experience all spectrums of emotions in the lifetimes that we have, different experiences that we'll go through. Now, Juno is also the goddess Juno coming into the sign of Capricorn on the 14th of the month. Again, you know, she's the ruler of contracts, of marriages, partnerships, unions. And you do have legality showing up here with justice. And Page of Swords suggests to me there's an awful lot of information flowing backwards and forwards. You're going to need to stand true, hold the line, make sure you've got courage here. I also, again, see this Page of Swords, you know, the hand on the heart, this kind of deep soulful expression of what your wishes and desires are. And they're coming from an educated place here. You know, it's not just something that you've thought of on a whim, even though the page is still coming with a slight degree of naivety to a situation. He's absolutely standing true to, you know, what he believes, and what he believes is based on his emotional experience and what he's understood. And, you know, you can't knock him for that. So even though he might not have all the life experience yet, you know, you have to kind of really honor yourself and meet yourself where you are in the moment. Even if you don't know everything that you think you ought to or you should, you still have something to say. You still have a voice, and, you know, that is needing to be shared right now. And when you do express it, it's going to feel really different to you, and it's going to change your energy as a result. We need you to hear that. Now, we also have Vesta moving into Sagittarius on the 16th of the month. embodying those values that you've really been working hard to nurture, and then starting to walk your talk in a more powerful way than you ever have before is also going to be revealing itself through the course of November. Knight of Pentacles, you're showing up and you're committing to something with a level of no more playing here, no more kind of kidding around. Like I mean this and I'm on board, and this is the direction that I've now decided to invest my energy in. And I really like this for you because I think it's a comfortable state of being for Virgo to kind of acknowledge, okay, this is what I need to do. I have the medicine, the soul medicine, if you like, to know what it's going to take to nourish and sustain me. You know, you have the reliability of self. That's what you do when you show up. You're going to deliver in that instance. And I feel like when the communication of that is expressed in a way that comes deep down from the root, then you know that the eventuality of this is going to bring the successful outcome that you're actually seeking. Now, we talked about eclipse energies this month, yeah? So we have a partial lunar eclipse coming in at the full moon in the sign of Taurus on the 19th, 27 degrees. It's going to square Jupiter and it's trining with Pluto. So we have this pressure point that comes from Jupiter that wants to amplify and expand anything that it gazes upon. We have Taurus, a fellow earth energy that wants to ground in to make something tangible, and that when we release and let something go, there's a sense of knowingness that it's the right thing. There's a trust aspect that comes in here. And then what we're looking at, of course, is trining with Pluto, this desire to transform, knowing it's good for you. So even though you may feel the pressure of something, the challenge of something, it actually helps to give this sense of rising confidence and rising certainty within you that actually I'm doing the right thing, and that as soon as I start to talk about it, to write about it, to express it, it's solidifying even more for me and it's coming together. And I think there's also something about untangling yourself from the energy of situations that have perhaps felt like they've clouded your sense of clarity, your vision, your truth, and that when you're actually able to call that energy back, and that might be a little bit vulnerable because you might feel like you're out on your own to some degree, but at the same time there's just going to be more a sense of you drawing on your own energy, and then that's going to start to build much more favorably for you. Now, I want you to think back to 2012 through 2014, because this is the last time we had the eclipse with Taurus and Scorpio axis. Now, not necessarily a repeat of that time, don't worry if that wasn't a favourable experience for you, but you may well be dealing with similar sorts of changes and evolutionary growth. But of course, knowing what you now know, having become the person that you have with this hugely accelerated change that you've been experiencing of late. So this is really themes you're going to be working in for the next couple of years, and we want you to just pay attention to how that full moon is pressurizing you, but at the same time almost like bringing out the best in you. And then we burst into Sagittarius season from the 21st. So into that fourth house energy of what makes you feel safe, where your emotional safety becomes a priority. You're really looking at your roots. There's beautiful ancestral energy starting to come in to kind of help you to feel at home. There's something toward the end of November where you feel like you've come home to yourself, to a situation, to a person. And, you know, that energy is also going to be really favorable toward the end of the month. We have a whole series of beautiful astrological aspects coming in. It's going to be like a tailwind. And it does mean that any bigger decisions or choices or situations that have unfolded that have felt a bit more rocky or unsteady, everything seems to start to balance itself toward that end of November time. Now, we're looking at the Moonology Manifestation Oracle deck. This is the follow-up from Yasmin, beautiful deck. And I put all of the decks in the description box, by the way, if you're wanting to check that out, Virgo. So you have last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up, it says. Okay, so we always have an area of seriousness, right? When we apply our energy, we want to be deliberate and intentional. And when you do show up, there's a beautiful practicality to that, but you bring the practical magic. That's what I always think with Virgo energy. But here we need to lighten up about a particular situation. We know that there are things that are important, perhaps things that are on the line, but at the same time, it's not meant to take you to a place where you completely abandon what it means to have that sense of childlike wonder, curiosity for the world, for yourself, that you can still align and kind of wrap yourself around those experiences in your life that do feel good. And, conversely with the Three of Cups, it does suggest to me that there is a beautiful celebration that comes in that is I feel overdue, is what I want to say. It's very overdue. There's a kind of karmic payout, if you like, for something that comes in that's really sweet. And I want you to feel the acknowledgement of that. Like we said, sometimes we get so kind of, aware of how much more there is to do that we forget how far we've already come. But Leo, of course, it's that heart energy as well, isn't it? And Leo has its heart on its sleeve, and it's unafraid to kind of stand up on the stage and kind of announce to the world, this is what's going on, this is how I feel, this is where I want to go, this is the truth of it. And again, that's kind of really echoing what I feel is this vibe for you through the course of November. But in doing so, we don't want you to get so serious about it that you kind of weigh yourself down with the expectation or with the kind of heaviness of, what it's going to do by way of impact, but rather move with the energy that just is bubbling up and just has something to say, and kind of feel into the beauty of that. Okay, so this is the Starcode Astro Oracle. Let's take a look. Okay, so you have the moon here, perception. Are we worried about people's perception of us? Indeed, your perception of yourself is changing. There may be a situation, of course, that is skewed or feels a little bit confusing or uncertain. There's also an invitation here to look at where we have been deceiving ourselves. But I think there's a clarification and a truth that's emerging, really, especially with that justice energy coming in, a non-emotional observation that says, okay, how do I need to balance this situation out now? What is it going to take? What am I going to do for myself? But of course, the moon is also unlocking things. It's unlocking wisdom. It's unlocking knowledge. It's revealing deeply revelationary energy. So coming in around that full moon eclipse, that's what eclipses do. They bring things to light that have been hidden. Now, yes, sometimes they can shake the very core. It's right next to the Seven of Wands here. So you're going to be challenged. There's something that's going to come in that's going to ask you, to make you feel like you always have to prove something to someone or to yourself, or to really stand by something that you believe, or to really figure out what you are fighting for and why it matters. But here's the thing, when you're truly aligned with that, it doesn't really matter the chaos that's ensuing around you, because you're not going to be knocked off your centeredness. Your King of Pentacles right here says that's a certainty, There's a generosity of spirit that's emerging, as the King of Pentacles is surrounded with all of those beautiful yellow flowers there. There's a joy that's actually coming as a result of you just feeling like you've stepped into your greatness in some aspect of your life. And that, even though there's a sense of accomplishment already with the King of Pentacles, I want to say it's also just the beginning. Just feels like this is just the beginning. So all of the maturity, the wisdom, the life experience that's brought you to this point, is also about to kind of go to the next level. So you have celestial channel here, hidden beauty, remaining optimistic, staying neutral. Your neutrality with justice card here. We talked about this sense of optimism, how we want to keep with lightening up. And the hidden beauty, of course, the moon is going to unlock so much information for us as well. But I think, you're also through your own strength, the overcoming of, adversity in your journey in your life, and the recognition of that, you are revealing something new within you. You're kind of unearthing some sense of potential that perhaps, a new gift, a new sense of understanding, Page of Cups, that's kind of really going to explode and take you perhaps in some completely new direction. Sometimes eclipse energies can really come in and kind of throw us a curveball and say, I know that this was your whole life plan and your blueprint, Virgo, but actually come check this out over here. But remember what I said, what does start to come through and is going to feel true to you as you come toward the end of the month, there's something about it feeling like home. So you you are moving in the right direction. Six of Swords, though, does say make sure you've got a plan. Think about the execution of that plan, but also be moved by it emotionally. Scorpio season is going to deliver that sense of intensity to things, but it will be delivering results. So you've got to mean what you say what you mean, and let your heart speak its truth. So this is a general reading for the month of November, Virgo. I'm just going to invite you to think about a question that might not have come up in the main spread here. Let's pull a couple of cards for that just now. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to go ahead and clarify this main general spread. So let's just start with the Six of Swords. What do we need to know? Six of Swords. Okay, Ten of Pentacles coming in here. Hanged Man. Beautiful emotional renewal coming in there with Ace of Cups, Two of Wands. Choices coming through here. Interesting. Okay. 3, 4, and 5 of Swords. A little bit, like I said, I feel like you have to get untangled from something. And when you do, like all of that sort of pressure and that anxiety, I feel is going to lift. Got the Emperor coming in here. Another moon energy. Okay, that Three of Cups showing up again there with the Six of Cups as it crosses you. Yeah, interesting. Knight of Pentacles. Okay, Blasted Beach is the Tower. There's our challenge. There's our trajectory shift coming in. King of Wands and the Devil showing up. King of Wands, of course, fire energy. Could be Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. Might be relevant for some of you. We have Queen of Swords, air sign as well, showing up here. Nice. Okay, just going to pull a couple more. Star, beautiful. Virgo, if you would like to join me for the extended version of this reading, you can find the link in the description box or the comment section underneath. We will talk for another 20-25 minutes. We're going to go into this reading to give you some additional insights. We'll also do the reveal of your personal question. It's a way to support my channel and give you some extra information for your soul story this month. So I appreciate those of you that want to join me. Otherwise, I'm going to wish you beautiful blessings. Be sure to check out your other signs so you've got your full sun, rising and moon to get a more comprehensive overview for this month. And if it does resonate for you as you move through November, please do come back and drop me a comment, share with me how things have played out for you, and I'm going to send you beautiful blessings. You take good care. Thanks for being here.